In one of our disability advocacy meeting, one of the disabled adults said to the commissioner over here, "Sir, I want to go to the beach. I'm a wheel-bound person. I cannot go to the beach." The commissioner took this very seriously here in Goa. And he said, the next meeting that we conducted on advocacy, said, I want to tell you, it was you who asked that question, and that was our inspiration to see that at least one beach is made accessible for a person who is wheelchair bound. So this is what we are talking about, no? This advocacy that we are trying to go.
So it was about that wheelchair user pushing the agenda that he wants to go to that. And sometimes it's about just...
He's a deaf-blind person.
He's deaf-blind wheelchair user?
Wheelchair user.
Oh, so this is multiple disabilities.
Multiple disability. So deaf-blindness has got always multiple disabilities.
No, of course, but I mean deaf-blindness, of course, but this is an additional third disability that he's a wheelchair user as well.
Wheelchair, yeah. And he made that change. And the commissioner admitted, he said, you have been an inspiration to me to see that I provide for a wheelchair-bound person, access to the beach.
Hello and welcome to the India Autism Center podcast. We are here at the Purple Fest Goa 2025 as their official podcast partners. Today, I have with me Father Maverick Fernandes from Caritas Goa. He's been doing tremendous work on various disabilities for the last 23 years. Thank you so much for joining us, Father.
My pleasure.
Yeah. If you could tell us a bit to start with about the work that you've been doing and the work Caritas has been doing on disability, I'm sure a lot of people would be interested.
Thank you for having me present here to share this work of ours. In fact, from 1978 onwards, we have been doing a lot of work in the state of Goa. We pioneered first into having a production cum training center on various trades. Subsequently, in 1980 onwards, we went into education, starting a school for the first time in the state of Goa. We have reached up to the higher secondary in academics. This is a school that we run. Besides for the disability, we have also two programs very specific on deaf-blindness. We run two centers, one in the north and one in the south. So we cover the whole of Goa as far as the disability of deaf-blindness and multiple disabilities are concerned. Besides, we have also another institution called Divya Sadan, where we take care of adult disabled. So it's modeled under the large communities of Javaniye. So we take disability right from the child to the adult and also old age. So that spectrum we have covered all over the state of Goa. So this is, besides, we are also into a lot of advocacy for disability, seeking, lobbying with the government for policies, for changes, and positive responses have come through. So that has been our journey of working in this field of disability.
No, I think you're doing a diverse amount of work in that sense. You spoke about deaf-blindness. Now, deaf-blindness is something which is rare, but it does exist. And there are not too many organizations working on deaf-blindness. What are the challenges a deaf-blind person faces in India today?
See, when we started this program in 2012, we ourselves were not very sure whether there are deaf-blind in Goa. Today, we have counted around 208 deaf-blind in Goa.
Oh, that's a big number.
Big number. And we are the only organization serving this community. The challenges that exist is first the accessibility to them. In fact, some days back, someone was asking me, Father, if you are given 50,000 crores, 50 crores, what would you attend to? I said, but the first thing I would do was to see how accessible things could happen for the persons with disability. Because if accessibility is there, then opportunity is open. If opportunity is open, then they are also able to be empowered to even look at their livelihoods, apart from the education and the skilling of it. So accessibility becomes the prominent aspect way for disabled to give this, to have different opportunities. So for the deaf-blind particularly, what happens is the schools, first and foremost, who are catering to the blind will not take a child because they are also deaf. Or a school that takes care of a child with his deaf or having hearing impairment will not take a child because the child is also blind. So they are doubly disadvantaged. And that's the reason our centers are very state-of-the-art designed, where a child can enter our center and can maneuver through the whole building without any assistance, because the type of
You mean a deaf-blind child?
deaf-blind child.
Wow.
Because the way we have designed the whole structure is they can move on with the flooring, the walls, touch. We are in fact going into setting up a first sensory garden, especially for the deaf-blind. So this is in the way.
Can you tell our audience what is a sensory garden?
Okay, sensory garden is something which is very much important for a deaf-blind child or deaf-blind young adult, because their only senses that they function of its sense of taste, touch, and smell. So if you can create touch sensations for them of the plants, of the soil, of the sand, of water, give them this opportunity of feeling it more, of sense of touch, the smell, the different odors that exist as far as the plants are concerned, the flowers are concerned, that increases their knowledge base, not just by academics, but by practical experiences. So having such a sensory garden, which we don't have in the state of Goa, we are in the process of setting up such a sensory garden, is a path-breaking exercise for the persons with deaf-blindness. So that's where we are moving. So we have catering to the academic section, early intervention. We are also skilling them. So we have also very good examples where the deaf-blind have now set up their own grocery stores, ice cream parlors, are going into production of
So they're reaching financial independence also.
They are achieving financial independence. In fact, last year, almost 40 of them, we have set them into livelihood opportunities where they are doing it on their own, in the support of the family. So, and they are, in fact, become the bread earners for the family. So, instead of becoming a liability, what people would generally think, they are becoming an asset to the family as far as livelihood
And
is
that is the best way to change attitudes in the country towards disability as well.
Yeah.
Right?
So if we can talk about this and we make it known to people, the deaf-blind person can achieve independence and also in economic independence. So that would be a good thing for people to know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that you're doing a lot of work for adults with disabilities in general.
Yes.
That's the second pillar that you spoke about.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about the
So
project you're doing there?
adult, when we look at is young adults, getting them to be vocationally skilled, and they develop and then they produce. Besides those who are above 20, we also have a center for them where they come and reside. Now, this is a very unique experience that we have created, which is modeled under the large communities, where the large communities developed an ideology which says the able and disabled can live together. So in this institute, the admissions are not decided by the management. It is decided by the core group. And the core group are the ones who are intellectually disabled adults.
Oh.
So even the admission is decided by the intellectually disabled adults who are already part of the system. The process of admission is pretty long. It's not like the family comes and tells that, okay, we want to put this adult of ours into the institution here. No. You have to come and be part of our institution for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks, be part of our sheltered workshop that exists. We have a sheltered workshop where they are weekly paid and their salary for the work that they do. So then afterwards, what happens is they come for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they say, can I stay for a weekend? Now, the management doesn't decide whether they can stay. The ones who are already staying, who we refer to as co-members, take a decision whether someone else can also join them to stay. So if they stay there, they have to be part of doing things. So the decisions about what will be cooked for the day, who's going to be cleaning the place, who's going to do the marketing, is also the intellectually disabled person is part of the decision. So we respect the ability of the intellectually disabled adult also to make decisions. So that's where we look at the dignity of the person.
It's like a center for living?
It's a center for living.
Okay.
Plus, there are people who come from outside and they go, because there's a sheltered workshop there which we run. So it's like looking at the dignity of an intellectual disabled person to make decisions. So this is what we are trying to achieve here.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving them leadership roles in that sense, which is very rare in organizations in India. or worldwide. I think this is a very unique concept.
Yeah, very unique.
How long has this been going on for?
This has been modeled by this former a person called Jean Vanier. Internationally, it is there.
Okay.
So in India, there are just 5 houses of this.
Okay.
The 4 houses are run by the large community. In Goa, when I wanted to set up such a system, I chose that model, but it is managed by Caritas Goa. It's not affiliated to them, but we have copied the model into running such an institute. So we are one of the fortunate ones, the 5th one in the country over here. So there's just 5 houses of this type.
And how many people are there in this shelter?
We have around 10 who are there, people who are with disabilities and without disabilities.
Okay.
So the ones who are helping them are called assistants. The ones who are intellectually disabled are called co-members. So they are the co. The others who come in are to assist them. Yeah.
They are not permanent.
Yeah, they're coming and helping
Yeah.
them.
Right. And you mentioned that you're also doing a lot of advocacy work for disability in
Yes.
Goa. Can you tell us a bit
fact,
about the challenge battles you're fighting?
So what happened is we have got a little experience of preparing frameworks for policies in the other sectors that I work in tourism. There are a lot of policy frameworks we created. And through those frameworks that we created, we were able to do a lot of lobbying with the government and have got very positive results. I also work in another sector of the interstate workers, the migrants. There also we have seen the positive results. So here we are also looking at very specific policy for the deaf-blindness in the state of Goa, where we see if we begin to lobby with a focused disability, the better chances of getting results faster. I'll give you a very simple example. In one of our disability advocacy meeting, one of the disabled adults said to the commissioner over here, "Sir, I want to go to the beach. I'm a wheel-bound person. I cannot go to the beach." The commissioner took this very seriously here in Goa. And he said, the next meeting that we conducted on advocacy, he said, I want to tell you, it was you who asked that question, and that was our inspiration to see that at least one beach is made accessible for a person who is wheelchair bound. So this is what we are talking about, no? This advocacy that we are trying to go.
So it was about that wheelchair user pushing the agenda that
yes,
he wants to go to that. And sometimes it's about just...
He's a deaf-blind. He's a deaf-blind person.
He's deaf-blind wheelchair user?
Wheelchair user.
Oh, so this is multiple disabilities.
Multiple disability. So deaf-blindness has got always multiple disabilities.
No, of course. But I mean, deaf-blindness, of course. But this is an additional third disability that he's a wheelchair user as well.
Wheelchair, yeah. And he made that change. And the commissioner admitted, he said, "You have been an inspiration to me to see that I provide for a wheelchair-bound person, access to the beach."
You know, since we've spoken a lot about the deaf-blind in this particular episode, if there's any parent of a child with deaf-blindness who comes to you, or is watching this episode, what is the number one advice you would give them?
Accept the child. Accept the child. Build your resolve to cater to the child. We are there to assist you. So don't feel lost, because most often when we find parents who have got children with deaf-blindness, they're unable to address their issues because they don't have the wherewithal to take care of a child. That's where we help them to be confident that you can take care of the child, and we are here to support you. So that's my message to them, to please don't get feel
disheartened
and it's a hopeless situation. No, there is a lot of hope. As I said, there are people who are in our deaf-blind community who have now ventured into livelihood issues. So they are capable of economic independence. You have faith in yourself and your child, they can achieve whatever they can dream for.
Do you think the disability community in India overall has also kind of ignored the deaf-blindness when it comes to advocacy? Because it's not really been a priority.
I wouldn't like to say ignored.
A lot of advocacy in that sense.
I wouldn't like to say ignored, but was not aware of it enough. And now that it is Sense India International has been a pioneering institution across the country. They are working in more than 24 states, doing a lot of partnership work. The aspect about deaf-blindness is getting recognition now, and which needs to grow across the country.
No, of course. Yeah. And what role do you think is technology playing for this particular community?
Yeah, very good question, because technology has helped a lot for people with deaf-blindness. We have had, I don't know if you have heard about this lady called Shrutilita Singh, who has now earlier was a deafblind person, was a normally born person, acquired deafblindness through the in the course of her life, but now has been able to address people, listen to everyone through the technology that exists. No, so it is technology has helped a lot in deafblindness. We've had also some of our young adults, deafblind adults, who are able to use their mobile, respond to. So these are technological advances that help the person with deafblindness. It plays a big role, and it has to also grow all the more so that
Right.
accessibility is not just rails and REMs, but also digital accessibility
yeah.
should be there for people with disabilities.
But even with all this technological growth, etc., empowering people with disabilities, organizations like yours doing great work for disabilities like deaf-blindness, etc., as well. In India, overall, there is still a very big charity mindset when it comes to disability. How do you think can we change this attitude towards disability in this country?
See, from a situation where I'm seeing there's a growth in the understanding also. From a situation where even when I started work and I heard parents, even in the deafblind sector, we had some of the children who were locked inside, tied on, tied to the beds because the parents had to go for work. From such a situation, now they feel very proud that the child can get out from the house, was a young adult today, can go and work in a laundry and do the ironing work of clothes. So there is a growth in the understanding. Earlier, they wanted to hide. Today, they are also respectful of their disability and also are feeling empowered that they are, the growth that is seen. So overall, there was a situation, or there is still some in some families, maybe they don't want to accept disability. Even when children come to us in a school, parents are not wanting to accept that the child is disabled. They say, no, something is wrong, something is wrong. When you tell them to go and do their IPHP certification or hearing certification, they are very reluctant many times. Reluctant because they don't accept that their child is with disability. So this is a stigma sort of that exists still, which has to outgrow, and the country has to put more efforts into looking at the rights of persons with disability. Having these commissions and active commissions for disability is a positive thing, because at least they can take up for the rights of persons with disabilities. Such type of events of organizing also is a positive sign to say that okay, disability should not be hidden. They have to be brought out, spoken about their dignity and their rights in this country.
Right. I've taken a lot of time, but I'm going to ask you one last question.
Yes, most well.
And I've been asking this question to everybody who's come for this podcast. What do you think can the common citizen of India do to make India a more sensitive country towards disability?
Respect them, accept them, so that they also have a right to live as a dignified citizen of this country. Don't look down on them as if they are second-class citizens. No, they have equal right as a citizen of this country. So accepting them, respecting them, and recognizing their worth would be the crux of helping them to be part of this country.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to have you on this episode.
My pleasure.
Thank you.